This week we're going to talk about the importance of fire in nature. We met with Mansfield Fisher at the Green Swamp Nature Preserve to talk about controlled burns, Fire in the Pines Festival, and the Longleaf Pine Savanna. I'm Maddie Peterson, and you're watching Dug Geographic. There is a science to fire, believe it or not. And while it may seem counterintuitive, fire is actually incredibly important in biological and environmental processes. Throughout the course of Earth's history, forests and prairies have been consistently exposed to low-intensity fires, so much so that these ecosystems have become reliant on fire to function healthily. By burning fallen trees and other surface-level organisms, fire is able to speed up the nutrient cycling process. So, the nutrients that were once stored in dead trees or leaves can return to the soil for further use. However, because humans now live in these ecosystems, fires are not occurring as often as they would naturally. So we have now discovered a need for controlled burns. Controlled burning is a forest and land management technique used to ensure ecosystem and public health. If you've ever walked around the forest surrounding Wilmington, you will notice a large amount of pine needles on the forest floor. These pine needles are a form of fuel, and when left to accumulate on the forest floor, they can cause catastrophic wildfires. However, if this fuel layer is reduced using a controlled burn, the risk of wildfire can be greatly reduced. To talk more about the process of controlled burning, we asked Mansfield Fisher, a former UNCW graduate who now works for the Nature Conservancy, about his work and how we can get involved.
Yeah, so the Nature Conservancy is a nonprofit environmental group. We're one of the largest ones in the world. We work in over 40 different countries and in all 50 states in the U.S. We were started in 1951. I think the coolest thing about the Nature Conservancy is that we're nonpartisan. We work with all different groups. It doesn't matter what their point of view is, but if there are places that we can come together and collaborate, we're always open to do it. Getting fire back in the longleaf pine system is really, really important, and there's a lot of different reasons why it's so important. One of the biggest reasons why it's so important is for fuel reduction. So if you do not regularly burn the woods, you get a buildup of woody dead debris, and that's when you can get a really catastrophic wildfire to come in and can end up killing a bunch of the trees. What we're standing in right now is maintained with fire, and as you can see, there's almost no mid-story and there's no brush on the ground. One of the big things that happens, and this happens a lot out west with wildfires, is you'll get a wildfire and all the trees will die, and now you have an exposed slope, and so you can have a lot of erosion issues, and that's where you can see you lose a lot of your really good topsoil, and you'll also can have mudslides and things like that. So it also opens up, if you have a catastrophic wildfire and you lose all your trees and your native plants that are there, it's a lot easier for invasive non-natives to come in and take over. And then at that point, it's really hard to restore it. Here, in systems like this, if you're trying to restore a system that's been fire suppressed, you might have an encroachment of a lot of woody species like gum species, sweet gum, maple, oaks tend to overcrowd the mid-story. You also have a lot of shrubs that will encroach on your grasses. Here in the southeast North Carolina, a lot of our plant diversity is at the understory level, so grasses and forbs and legumes. And so when you have shrubs in that mid-story come in, they outcompete essentially your lower story levels. So if you've ever gone to a forest that's been fire suppressed, you'll look on the ground and there'll be nothing but leaves and just litter, dead stuff. There's nothing actually growing like grasses. And so in order to reduce that competition, you want to be able to get sunlight to the ground. So that's one of the main goals that we try to accomplish. The Fire in the Pines Festival is trying to show people that fire is a natural part of these ecosystems and that is a good thing, that don't be scared of fire necessarily, that when you see a fire burning in the woods, people may be trying to restore it, and that not all fire is going to be destructive fire, that there's a lot of good things that can come from fire. So every year we have our Fire in the Pines Festival, which is held at Halliburton Park. We work with our partners, the City of Wilmington, their park system, and the North Carolina Forest Service to create a day of fun and free festival activities with other with an educational component. We work with other education groups or environmental groups from around Wilmington to bring them in to create a fun-filled festival atmosphere in which kids and families can come out and learn about how important it is to get fire back into these natural ecosystems.
How can UNCW students and the UNCW community get involved in either the preservation of the longleaf pine savanna or just the other work that you do?
So UNCW's Environmental Studies program is already doing this, and there's a lot of opportunities to get involved. My office at the Nature Conservancy in Wilmington is always looking for UNCW students to get involved in our work, whether it be through internships or through volunteer projects where students can get have a project that they work on, and when they get done with that project, have something they can put on their resume. We do a prescribed fire class every year in the spring through the Environmental Studies program, and that is a great way to get involved. If you're interested in anything and getting involved with the Nature Conservancy, please feel free to contact me and we can sit down and figure out the best way for you to get involved.
Thank you so much to Mansfield for his insights on controlled burns. Be sure to check out the festival this Saturday at Halliburton Park from 10 to 3. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Dug Geographic. See you next week, Seahawks.